Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment in our No Buff Rift Clear series. If you missed my video on Thursday, you really missed hearing just how bad my voice has been the past couple of days, but I'm a little bit further down the mend at this point, and hopefully within the next day or two, I'm to a point where everything is back to normal. But I'm feeling significantly better than I did in the past couple of days. That being said, we do need to talk a little bit about the rift in question. Today, that is the level 25 Rush Rift, where we need to defeat 40 enemies or more on the raft. And the raft area specifically is kind of the dining hall common area within the compound itself. So this is one of those rifts that you cannot access unless you have located it physically in the story quest. And the hint that we have is it needs to be found between dimensions. So the way that you go about finding this rift in particular is after the conversation with Elsa Bloodstone that opens up the portal allowing you to progress, you'll want to hang a sharp left, and you will then find the portal in a little alcove that's a little bit off the beaten path. Interacting with it will allow you to either jump into that rift at that point in time, or it will allow you to come back to it at a later date. Either way, you do need to interact with it if you want to have the opportunity to take on this rift. But now that we know where to find it, we can talk about how the rift functions. And the function is fairly straightforward. We've seen a couple of these rush type rifts in the past, and we have 3 minutes to complete them, with both the damage that we deal and the damage dealt by our opponents increasing over the course of the fight, once every minute for the course of those 3 minutes. As we continue to fight in against those opponents, we'll want to keep in mind two very clear things. The first is, in order to get the base clear, we need to defeat those 40 enemies. If we want to get one of the additional stars for that, we'll need to defeat double that number at 80 enemies defeated, which is fairly simple to do, and you'll notice that as I'm combating in the first couple of minutes of this fight, I'm not dealing a whole lot of damage to my opponents, but as we passively have that damage buff applied to the members of our team, we will end up dealing more damage and rip through these opponents a lot more consistently. This is where Black Panther really helps in this type of a scenario. Even though we haven't buffed any of his abilities, his Vibranium Slash will cut through the defenses of the mighty type enemies, and then we can get very easy follow-ups either with him or with a different team member. We also have a couple of extreme attack detonations that help pretty significantly when it comes to either wearing down large groups of enemies or scoring those knockouts in higher numbers. The other thing that you do want to keep in mind is you'll need to deal 3.5 million damage with abilities. If you can, try and use them in synergies because those allow you to compound that damage that you can deal. But also keep in mind that you'll want to try and focus on groups of opponents when using your abilities to make sure that you're getting the maximum damage output there. But if you're taking out those 80 enemies and using abilities to take them out as well, you're going to have a fairly easy time, all things considered, getting that 3.5 million or more damage with the abilities. You'll just need to kind of keep an open eye on the maximum energy point refills that are dropped by some of the mighty enemies, or make sure that you are strategically layering in standard attacks against your opponents in order to regain the energy points passively through combat to continue the use of those ability attacks. But I really think that that is everything that we needed to go over, and my voice will be very grateful that today was a shorter video, as I think it still wants an extra day or two to fully mend, or at least get to a point where I sound somewhat normal. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you hit that like. Don't forget to subscribe for the daily variety content. It's been rough the past couple of days, even being sick, trying to keep up on this, but that is the commitment that I have to this craft. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.